So today we have Mr. Drake Dodson of Clearview Insurance. And first thing I want to say is magnificent head of hair. Magnificent. I notice things like that.
I'll tell my wig maker you said that.
Okay, great.
Thank
Well,
you.
tell your wig maker to call me. I might have some work for him. So Drake, I wanted to talk to you because I've been seeing driveways where the water is running out of houses, since we had that deep freeze a couple of weeks ago.
Sure.
And I've heard from a lot of people about all the horror stories of all the damage that's been done to their homes.
Yes.
So I want to talk to you, ask you, what do people do when they say, oh, I need to put in a claim, or I might need to put in a claim? What would you do?
Yeah, no, that's a great question because so many people are unprepared for that moment. That's exactly the point of that moment. It is it's a immediate travesty that happens, right? So the first thing you want to do is, from an insurance perspective, your first job is to immediately stop whatever is causing the damage. So if that's water, then you go shut off your water valves, right? So that there's no more water flowing. Then you call a water remediation company. Mm-hmm. They're going to come in, they're going to start to dry stuff out, figure out what they got to do for next steps. While they're out there, they can also give you an estimate for what the repairs will be. Mm-hmm. So that then now you have an idea of what the costs are going to look like. Gotcha. And that's going to be a crucial part because that's what you're going to need to make that final insurance decision. Mm-hmm. Because then you want to get on the phone with your agent. And this is the crucial part, right? So many people go directly to calling the claims department to report a claim. But you don't know yet that you actually want to file a claim because you have a deductible to take into consideration. And you may not know your deductible or remember it, You also have future policy ramifications to consider. So now you got to, in relation to so the first contact should be straight to your agent. Mm-hmm. That they can give you guidance, they can pull up your policy, they can tell you all that bit of information, and you guys can go over the costs versus the pros and cons, basically, and figure out what course of action you want to take there.
Gotcha. So it's almost like being off the record.
That's correct. Exactly right.
Okay. Great.
For a claims representative to talk to you, they have to initiate a claim. That claim goes on your record, whether it pays out or not, and it's on your record for 5 years.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is huge.
Yes.
Huge.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing all of that. So, and this applies for any kind of a claim.
Any scenario, regardless of pipes, Water damage is always a very tricky thing in the insurance world. And so a burst frozen water pipes, pretty standard, covered under your normal base policy coverage.
Okay.
Other water losses, kind of, flooding, you've got to have flood insurance for that. But in-house flooding, as far as coming out of pipes or drains, a clogged toilet, water damage. If you have the water backup endorsement, that's what helps you get covered for that. There's also an endorsement called service line coverage that will help cover the water line going to and from the house under the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not normally covered, the line that goes into the house.
Those are additional endorsements that would need to be added on to have that covered. Not expensive, but a great level of coverage to add for sure.
Something to have when one of those things where if you don't have it and it happens, you kick yourself.
So that service line coverage I actually really love because it's a pretty well all-encompassing coverage at most all companies. Covers wear and tear and root intrusion is your big one that you're looking at there. Because especially, here in Roswell, here in the area, most of the homes are from the 70s or 80s. And that means those utilities have been down there since the 70s or 80s. And you don't know it's a problem until it's a problem. There's no maintenance to do there, So,
Gotcha.
And that's usually, in my experience, a $5,000 to $10,000 job, and that would cover you for that job minus a $500 deductible is what most companies do for that. So,
Right.
Yep.
Well, that is extremely helpful, Drake. I just have one last question, very important. Do you have the phone number of your wig maker?
I'll give that to you off air.
Okay,
Yeah.
please quick.
Some good Vidal Sassoon,
Oh, yeah, Vidal Sassoon. Gosh, that's a name from the past for me. Well, thank you, Drake.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate all the information. And we'll speak soon.
Sounds good, Steve. Thank you.